Well, I'm a safeguarding lead for NMCWatch, basically because Catherine asked me to. I don't know really if I'm a very good safeguarding lead. I do know that I'm quite fair. I think it's really important that, you know, I understand from the Facebook, you know, we're talking about an 800 or so, nearly 900 nurses now that have gone from NMCWatch looking for support. And most of them come in via the Facebook page, and they're on there and they chat on there. And there are so many people who are under great pressure, right? And my job on there really is to just make sure that nothing happens that detracts us from our purpose. I don't really like political stuff on there. I don't like it when people ask for funding for charity stuff, and I don't like it when people talk about politics on there. I don't like it when any of us are polarised. I try and keep it so that we're focused on the issue at hand, and the issue at hand is being there for each other, supporting each other while we go through this horrendous fitness to practice process. You know, one of the things that I want to say that makes it horrendous is when you threaten a nurse's career, you're not just really threatening their job. And I know this from experience. When we use the word vocation very flippantly, but when you take away someone's vocation, you're ripping out their identity. I don't know if any of you have experienced this. You'll know when someone threatens your status as a nurse, it's like ripping your whole identity. It's like, who am I going to be if you take this away? But you don't feel safe enough to say that. But that's what it feels like. It's very vocational, and the NMC just do not understand that. They're more than happy to threaten you, or, you know, you've only got to have a whiff of a referral and it's terrifying. The NMC got no understanding of that whatsoever. They're very clinical, and they don't really regard nurses as anything other than cases. They should really have I think that it needs to have people, what we do, but at the NMC, they need to approach every case with a view to putting that person back together again so they can practice, regardless of how bad it is, because they've deemed them fit and proper once, so they can be fit and proper again, like I said earlier. But I came about a safeguarding lead because I tried to have a really balanced view on the Facebook page. I tried to make sure people don't argue. I try to make sure that when someone posts something, it doesn't ruffle anyone else. I try to make sure that our safeguarding policy is updated. And listen, my time is so poor, I do a really bad job of it. But my heart's in the right place. The reason I'm a safeguarding lead is because I understand when I got referred, I reached out with a range of excuses. I had no insight whatsoever into what I was being seen as doing. I only had my view of it. And I think it's really difficult when you're under a traumatic experience to understand how you're seen by people. When you're going through that, it's really difficult to behave as a nurse because you want to behave as a human being first. And very often that's not the same thing. You have to... So you need other people's help. So the reason I'm safeguarding lead as well is to try and give that kind of common sense and that balance to people when they're going through that really difficult time. And remind them, you know, you do realise that no one's interested in what the other side's done. We're only interested in what you've done. You might not have done anything wrong, but whatever it is you have done is the only thing we're interested in. And it's really difficult to get people who are traumatised to understand that, because we want to blame and we want an excuse. We want to let the world know we haven't done anything, you know, that we're innocent. And it's incredibly difficult. So I'm safeguarding lead because I understand the process, really.